I am coming back as promised for a second live today with a specific topic to discuss and pick up kind of where we left off in the last live. So if you were not in the live this morning, then that's okay because you're not going to have missed anything that you need to know for this one. Hey, Sherry, how are you? And so we're going to be together for a little bit. Hey, Doug. Um, if you got a pen and paper, you're gonna. Hey, MG Brock. Hey, Rando Brando. Get a pen and paper because you might want to take some notes on this one. Hey, Dax. Hey, Steve. How are you, guys? If you are watching me anywhere other than TikTok, make sure that you say hello so that I can greet you back. What's up, Christine? Hey, Blue Nevada. What's up, Sandy? Hello, hello, David and Jamie. Dax, good to see you. I think I said Blue Nevada. I did. Angie and Lisa and all the folks. Job Vibration. Hola, Patricia. Hey, WJK. I am well. Good to see you over on the tube of you. Thanks, Cam. I appreciate it. I did make it back. Hey, Gigi. What's up, Conchita? Yeah, so we are gonna have this chat. Right. Good evening, Blue Honey Pot. Yay, I'm back, Butter's house. Oh, thanks, Sherry. I am on all the places. I'm on all the places. So right now we are streaming on TikTok, we are on Facebook, we are on YouTube, and we are on Substack. If you are watching me on Substack, the software don't talk to each other, so I don't get to see your comments. So just know that I appreciate you being here, even if I don't get to talk to you. Hello, Kimber. What's up, Tech Lady? So we are gonna. So if you were on with me this morning, you know that we were having. Hey, Amy. What's up, Chris? Hey, blessed and grateful. Megan, good to see you all the way from Florida. Love that for you. And yeah, kind of sort of Alicia, it's been a day, it's been a minute, let me just say. Um so listen, if you were with me this morning, we were talking a lot about religion, and we were talking about religion and rights and politics and how all of it kind of plays together, right? And I think that that is front and center in the world right now, right? I think that it is front and center. There's a lot of conversation. She's okay, Doug. We just had to go get a she had to go be evaluated, and we had to get this other clearance form for in order for them to do the surgery, because she has to have her surgery done in a children's hospital. And even though her pediatric pulmonologist signed off, we still had to get the regular physician to sign off. And so all of that is what we did this afternoon. But anyway, okay. So this morning we were having all of this conversation, right? And we were talking about some of the things that gets said, especially in the United States of America, with regard to Islam and I got you, Marky. I'm glad you're back, and then Christianity and all of those types of things. Okay, so so Seth, let me just say this is not a discussion about whether or not you believe in other people's religion, right? Nobody needs you to criticize anybody else's faith. That's not what the discussion is. The discussion is how faith plays a role in our politics and in our countries and in the actions that are taking place, especially right now. So, what I don't believe in doing is I don't believe in criticizing what other people believe. Like, believe what you want to believe. I don't care. As long as what you believe doesn't infringe upon my rights, as long as what you believe isn't weaponized and used against other people, I'm fine with that, right? So that's kind of my feeling about religion overall. I think what's important right now is when the Secretary of State, when the Secretary of Defense is telling the troops that what's happening in Iran is the holy war, right? And it's the war of Armageddon. That makes Christianity front and center in this conversation, right? When people are, especially members of Congress, are posting things that are inflammatory and ridiculously Islamophobic, then that matters, right? So those things come front and center as well, right? Um, and so it makes it necessary to have this conversation. And while we were having this conversation earlier today, thanks, Kayla, glad to be back. So while we were having this conversation today, um, there came this conversation about Israelites and if they are the chosen people and wasn't land promised to them and all of those things. Oh, gotcha, Carla. Yep, I'm back. I promised I was going to be back, so I'm back. And I want to make a distinction between when we talk about the history of Palestine. The most important thing for me is that we take religion entirely out of it, right? We have to take religion entirely out of it. Tucker, when have you heard me in this conversation right now criticize either the United States of America or Israel? When did you hear me do either of those two things? You did not, right? You did not. What you heard me say was what the Secretary of Defense has said. That's what you heard me say unequivocally, right? And what you heard me say is what members of Congress have posted on their social media and said to news outlets. That is not criticism of either the United States or of Israel. Now, I can and openly will criticize either one of them if I would like to. He does not represent the United States of America. That is incorrect. He was not elected. Pete Hegseth was not elected to any position. He does not represent the United States of America. He just simply has a politically appointed position. And that's the difference. Okay? So, in that discussion earlier today, oh, yeah, you're welcome, Robin. But in the discussion earlier today, we began to have this conversation, like I said, about Palestine. And it doesn't matter if he's confirmed by Congress. Again, he's not elected by the people. Nobody voted for him. Got it? Hey, Catsmandu, good to see you. You got it, folks? Hey, Visha, good to see you. No, they don't. They all talk behind fake ass profiles. Yes. One, and that's it. AJ, thank you very much. I have one. Why are you worried about what I do? Congress did not vote to put him in that position. You mean after the Senate? What? Can you have what?
Like 20.
One each, and that's it. And I just want to be clear about this, folks. I really don't give a shit what you have to say about Pete Hegseth. When the Secretary of Defense is telling the military that we are waging a holy war, I give zero fucks if you think he should be criticized or not. I literally don't care. I will criticize the fuck right out of him. Just so we're clear. Okay? Okay. All right, so here we go. So in this conversation, hey Lanny, we started to talk about Palestine. And I hope that Caroline J comes because she was specifically asking questions about Palestine and about history. And so one of the things that I think is incredibly important, right, is that we separate the difference between religious beliefs in terms of history and historical documents for history. And sometimes, hey mama, sometimes the two of those things intersect and sometimes they do not, right? So sometimes in secular history, in secular documents, we find there are things that also exist within religious texts. And then there are times that we don't, okay? And so when we take this out, right? When we take religion completely out of the picture and we discuss simply historical documents, we get a clear understanding of where things are and how things actually came to be. Appreciate you, Cam. So I want to run through a little bit of the history of Palestine. And I'm actually going to go back a couple of years further than I usually do. I usually start with the Balfour Declaration, but I'm going to go back to 1915 today so that, you know, we can follow the full timeline of things. Okay. So Tucker, before I get started, would you like to come up on the panel and have a discussion with me? Because once I get started talking about this information, I won't let you continue to distract people. Okay. So if you want to have a conversation, whether it's about Iran, whether it's about Israel, whether it's about the United States of America, or whether it's about women's rights, you will need to do so from the panel or you'll be muted. Not because of what you're saying, right? But because simply you're trying to be a distraction and you're not willing to have the conversation, right? AJ, Afghanistan is not in this conversation. Give me 1 second. This is what's so I want to just offer something for you. Okay. You ready? Uh, it's going to be funny to go over this. Are you guys ready? So for AJ, who said that Afghanistan just passed a law that it is legal for husbands to beat their wives. So let me give you a little piece of information. Okay, are you ready? So whoops, hold on 1 second. Oh my gosh. Give me a second. Oh, this is not the one that I want. Oh, get that out of my face, please. I need not that. Oh my God, I hate it when I cannot find what I want. It's just funny to take a look at some of these things, right? So, for example, in where is it? Where is it? Where is it? In Kentucky, an old law: a woman may not buy a hat without her husband's permission. That's funny, right? It's just. Let me see. Oh God, why can't I find the other one? Anyway, I'm not going down that rabbit hole with you. Sorry, you guys. Rabbit. And you know that happens sometimes. Squirrel. I mean, see, squirrel, not rabbit. All right. Good afternoon, Irvette. Hey, Robin. What's up, Nance? All right. So here we go. You guys ready? Did Tucker go away, or did Tucker decide to hop on the panel at all? Yes, I'm humming Stevie Wonder, and don't ask me why. I don't know. I haven't been listening to it, so I don't know. Adele, it depends. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Oh, he had to go to work? Great. We love that for him. What's up, Mr. Barrios? All right. So no, AJ, Sharia actually means law. So, AJ, this is going to be your opportunity as well. I'm going to handle you just like I handled. No, I'm not. Oh, dear God. It's one. No, I just block. But done. Okay. All right. So, really quickly, because I'm trying to be very focused on this one, you guys, before I open up the panel, I want to go back and I want to give some information. So, this is one of those days that um, if you don't have one and you're interested in remembering what I'm giving you, you really truly might want to. What's up, Frozo? You truly might want to have pen and paper in your hand for today. Okay, Frozo, give me a second, and if you still want to come up, I'll do that. I just want to kind of run through some facts for some folks first, and then I'm going to open the panel up so we can have some conversations about it. Cool. All right, so here we go. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so you know how normally when I talk about Palestine, I start at 2017 and I start with the Balfour Declaration. But today we're going to go back and we are going to go back to 1915 to 1916. So Hussein McMahon correspondence. That's what this is called. So Hussein, Hussein dash McMahon. So like Linda McMahon and Hussein. Got it? So Hussein dash McMahon. And so in 1915 to 1916, there's an exchange of letters. Thank you, Frozo, that takes place between Sharif Hussein Ibn Ali, who was the ruler of Mecca and the Hejaz, and then there and Sir Henry McMahon, the British High Commissioner in Egypt. And so between 1915, hey, shimmy, 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 Cocoa Pop. So these two guys were exchanging letters between 1915 and 1916 regarding the future political status of the Arab lands of the Middle East. And because Britain was aiming to bring about, imagine this, you guys, an armed revolt against the Ottoman rule. I don't know why we would be surprised or shocked to hear that Great Britain would be trying to provoke an armed revolt in somebody else's damn country. But here we go again. Okay, so check this out. McMahon, in his second letter of October 24th, 1915, he writes, quote, the districts of Mersin and Alexandretta and portions of Syria lying to the west of the districts of Damascus, Homs, Hama, and Aleppo cannot be said to be purely Arab and must on that account be accepted from the proposed elimination, right? And he says, quote, subject to that modification and without prejudice to the treaties concluded between us and certain Arab chiefs, we accept that delimitation, right? And then, quote, as for the regions lying within the proposed frontiers in which Great Britain is free to act without detriment to interests of her ally France, I am authorized to give you the following pledges on behalf of the government of Great Britain and to reply as follows to your note. That subject to the modifications stated above, Great Britain is prepared to recognize and uphold the independence of the Arabs in all the regions lying within the frontiers proposed by the Sharif of Mecca. That would have included Palestine. So just to be clear, in 1915 and 1916, Great Britain says to the Arab nations, hey, listen, we are prepared to recognize and uphold your independence, with the exceptions of the ones that they said must be carved out. So what they said is, with portions of the districts of Mersin and Alexandretta and portions of Syria that are lying to the west of the districts of Damascus and Homs, Hapa, and Aleppo cannot be said to be purely Arab. So we want those accepted, right? And yeah, well, Cam, the maps that you would get now wouldn't be labeled exactly the same. But basically, here's what they're saying. Except for this little portion that's over here, that it's portions of Syria and these other districts that are west of these other places, everywhere else is considered to be Arab territory. And so Great Britain is saying, we are prepared to recognize your independence and we are prepared to uphold your independence, right? Except for the ones that we've carved out. Everything else belongs to the Arabs and we are prepared to uphold that. Got it, guys? It doesn't really matter what they carved out. Ignore that. Just know that Palestine is part of the lands that Great Britain said they recognized as belonging to the Arabs and that they were willing to uphold and recognize their independence. That's what's significant to what we're saying right now. Does that make sense, you guys? Is Frostanian helping? Yes. Thank you, Frozo. Right. Except Syria and Egypt, all the other nations will have Arab independence. See, and you said it that way. I was saying, just know that Palestine was part of those. All right. So listen to this. It says basically, you guys are free. Right. In 1915, they acknowledged Palestine and all of the other regions except for Egypt and Syria as Arab countries, right? And that Great Britain was recognizing and upholding their independence. That's what they promised in 1915 and in 1916. Got it? And then there's something that occurs called the Sykes-Picot Agreement, and I'm going to spell it. So Sykes is Sykes dash Picot, Picot. So the Sykes-Picot Agreement happens May 16th of 1916. And it is a secret pact. Can you imagine that the West would be putting together a secret pact? They did. They did. Britain and France sign a secret pact outlining their spheres of control in the Middle East after the First World War. So Britain and France are already deciding what areas they want to take when the war is over and who gets to have what. Palestine is designated for international administration pending consultation with Russia and the other powers. This is before the Balfour Declaration, Biggie. Balfour Declaration is November of 1917. This is May of 1916. All right, got it. Pika. Got it, Malung. So Britain and France are having this secret pact, deciding what they want to do with the portions of the Middle East after World War I is over. And they've got to consult with Russia and the other powers. And if everybody agrees, then they've already decided between themselves who gets what, right? This agreement is seen by the Arabs, as it should be, as a betrayal of the Hussein McMahon correspondence. Okay, so y'all know me. I like to put it in layman's terms that we all do. So if you and I make a deal, right? And you and I make a deal that except for these two countries, everything else is independent. They are Arab nations. And I am going to help you. I'm going to recognize your independence and I will help uphold your independence. And then I go behind your back and I make a deal with my other friend. And me and my other friends say, hey, listen, I know we told these people this, but here's what we want to do. When we finish this war and we finish defeating the Ottoman Empire, right? I want to do this with this part and you can do this with this part. And as long as like our other friends agree, we're down with that, right? Cool. And then the people, and then you're like, what the fuck? I thought we had an agreement. And we're like, yeah, you thought so, but we really don't because we're looking out for the Western world, not the Middle Eastern world, right? Yeah, dirty because it's the Brits, just saying, right? So next. So then you go forward to the Balfour Declaration. Then you go forward. Now, let me just see if I want to do this or not. Do I want to? No, I don't. We'll just start here. Okay, so November 2nd. Well, right now, at this time, we're in the middle of World War I. Okay, So November 2nd, 1917, which is still 1 year before World War I ends, right? The Balfour Declaration happens. And the things that are for real important for people to understand about the Balfour Declaration is that in 1917, Palestine was still Palestine. Okay? It didn't belong to the British to promise to anybody. It did not belong to the British to promise to anyone. But there had been a request made by Lord Rothschild, and he had requested that the British help them establish a national home for Jews in Palestine. And Lord Rothschild had made this request because he was the president of the Zionist Federation. I'm going to say that again. He was the president of the Zionist Federation, and he was representing Jewish Zionists. Okay, hold on. Let me just see. Y'all know where Syria and Egypt is today, right? So it's everywhere except Syria and Egypt. Hold on. Let me just show you. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see if this is a decent one. Because, you know, sometimes they don't show the best maps. Oh, dear Lord. Can you just... Okay, this is good enough. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, okay? Thank you, Ruby. Appreciate you. I am going to Middle East map. That's where I'm going. Can you guys see it? Not me already having a map pulled up. Not me already having a map pulled up in another tab and then pulling up a new map and then being surprised when it pulled up a different map. Shit. This is what I get for having 3 different browsers open and 20 tabs in every browser. But this doesn't show everything that I want, but it shows I want you guys to see this other map though, actually. So give me 1 second. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Not that map. It's this one. It's this one. Yes, it is this one. Great. You guys can see this one. All right. So let me show you. You guys ready? Here we go. All right. All right. So here's what they're saying. Okay. And sorry, my phone is a little blurry. I'm going to fix it for y'all. There. That's better, right? Okay. So here's what they are saying. If you go all the way back to, so if you go all the way back to 1915, 1916, right? Then what they are saying is all of these lands, except for Syria and except for Egypt, except for these 2, everything else is considered to be Arab territories, Arab countries. And the British promise, right? The British promise to acknowledge these lands as Arab lands and to help them uphold their independence. So they are independent, they are sovereign, with the exceptions of Syria and Egypt. And the Brits promised to uphold that as independent Arab nations. Does that help you guys? Everybody clear now? Yep. Okay, perfect. Yay. Love that. Okay. So then what happens is that happens in 1916, right? And oof, let me get rid of that tab. I got so many things up. Do I want this one? Sorry, guys. I have to pull things out of the way because There we go. All right. So that happens in 1915. Okay. So October 24th, 1915, they say, listen, except for Egypt and Syria, everywhere else, that is all Arab nations. We recognize that and we promise to uphold your independence as Arab nations. Okay. Got it? And then they turn around. Imagine this, October of 1915. By May 1916, guess what happens after that? The British and the French get together and they sign a secret pact. And they have different places that they want to outline as, oh, I get control of this part of the Middle East and you get control of this part of the Middle East. And they did it behind the Arab nations' back, right? So they made a promise, but crossed their fingers behind their back. Exactly. Okay. And the Arab countries were pissed because they saw this as a betrayal, as they should. Okay. So then fast forward to November 2nd, 1917. Lord Rothschild is the president of the Zionist Federation, right? Jewish Zionists have been asking and they've been considering where should they establish a national home for Jewish people. Okay. So watch this. So, some of the places that they considered, because a lot of people believe that they chose this particular land in Palestine because it was originally theirs, because they had some kind of connection to that land, because somehow they were deserving of this land, but that is not the case. Before finalizing Palestine as to where they wanted to make a national home for Jews, Zionist leaders had considered East Africa, which was known as the Uganda Plan. They had considered Argentina, right? Under Theodore Herzl, which that's the father of Zionism. Other proposals had included locations in America, which happened to be New York, and Alaska, Madagascar, Libya, right? So there were lots of different ideas about where these Eastern European Jewish folks wanted to establish a national home for Jewish people. This has nothing to do with the H cost because the H cost had not happened yet. Got it, folks? All right. So they end up saying, and they send this proposal to the British cabinet and or the British Parliament, and they ask the British Parliament, hey, will you help us establish a national home in Palestine? And Lord Balfour replies back to Lord Rothschild, November 2nd of 1917. And he says, I am happy to report on behalf of His Majesty that we accept your proposal for a national home for Jewish people in Palestine. Here's the wording of it. This is exactly what he says. Quote, His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. Now, things that are really important to note about this document. Where did they say we agree to let you establish a national home for Jewish people? In Palestine. What does that mean? That means Palestine already fucking existed. So for all of you individuals that love to say dumb shit like Palestine doesn't exist, yes, it does. And yes, it did. History matters. Facts matter. And no matter, I know that some of you all think that if you just say a thing long enough, it will be true. That's not the case. Okay. I'm just saying denial doesn't help you. All right. So because they say in Palestine, we know that Palestine already existed, right? Next, The other thing that you want to point out about this is that the rights and the political status that is enjoyed by Jewish people in other country, that was supposed to be honored and upheld, as were the rights of non-Jewish people that already were there in the region. So that's where we were, November 2nd, 1917. In 1918, in the aftermath of World War I, the sons of Hussein were made the kings of Transjordan, which later became Jordan, Syria, and Iraq. So the sons of Hussein that originally entered into the Hussein-McMahon agreement with the British, those three sons became the kings of Jordan, Syria, and Iraq. Fast forward to July 24th, 1922. The League of Nations is established, and it gives Britain a mandate to administer Palestine. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Britain then says, yeah, I think we're going to help these Zionists, and we're going to help them develop a Jewish state. So, folks, listen, when I am reading this document, let me be clear about something. When I am reading a historical document, if the historical document calls them Jews, then I am going to read it exactly like the historical document refers to them. Let me say that again. When I am reading a historical document and the verbiage of the historical document says Jews or Arabs, I am going to say Jews or Arabs because I am reading a literal historical document. And that should be really clear because everyone in here knows I am reading a historical document. Now, if some people want to act like you don't understand that, then you are looking for something that does not exist, and shame on you. Got it? Okay. So when we talk about the League of Nations, when we say administer Palestine, okay, so here's basically what they said. The League of Nations was looking at all of the countries and the land that made up the Ottoman Empire. And they were saying, okay, well, who had the ability to rule themselves and who didn't have the ability to rule themselves? And so what the British said, what the League of Nations said was, listen, Palestine doesn't have the infrastructure, doesn't have the government to lead itself in the quote unquote modern world. Now, keep in mind, Britain and France have already agreed that Palestine is going to go to the Brits. So this is just, to me, this is just a fake reason to give the British mandate, which says they will administer things over Palestine. But basically all it is, hey, listen, we're going to be your big brother, right? And we're going to help you build up your country and your infrastructure until you can govern yourselves. That's the British mandate. And oh, by the way, at the same time, we're going to help the Zionist Federation establish a home for Jewish people in your land. Okay, that's the deal. So then what happens is this is when, so that was 1922. Okay. Between 1929 and 1939, in large part because of the rise of fascism in Europe, about 250,000 Jews arrived in Palestine during this 10-year period. Okay. August 23rd, Arab rioters unalived 67 Jews in Hebron. In 1930 to 1935, violent activities of Black Hand Islamic groups led by Sheikh, and I'm not going to try to say his name, but by a Sheikh against Jewish civilians and the British. Why? Because you are trying to give away our land that you said you were going to honor as being independent and uphold their independence. Okay. So July 22nd of 1946, there is the bombing of the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, which housed the British Civil, Military, and Police Command in Palestine by members of, and this part's important, you all, Ergen. Does everybody remember this name right here? Ergen, and does anybody remember them? We're going to just remember that I said who carried this out. I want you to remember that I'm reading that it was Ergen, because yes, you will, because when I get to this other document, then we're going to talk about that. The Haganah is different from Ergen and it is different from Stern, but we're going to talk about all of them. So, right before the IDF, you got it. So, here's what happens. July 22nd, 1946. Yeah, not the yes, you will. So, July 22nd, 1946, the Ergen, which is a Zionist organization, right? Ergen is a Zionist, actually, according to the Secretary of State and the UN, it is a Zionist terrorist organization. They bombed the King David Hotel in Jerusalem, which is wild because the King David Hotel is where the British civil, military, and police were staying in Palestine, right? 91 people are killed, 28 British, 41 Arab, 17 Jewish, and 5 from other countries. So November 29th, 1947, the United Nations General Assembly passes a partition plan dividing the British Mandate of Palestine into 2 states. No, not right now, Roxy. I can't, because we're already in the midst of something. Okay. And so the United Nations decides we are going to make a partition plan and we're going to divide Palestine into 2 states, accepted by the Jewish leadership, but rejected by the Arab leadership. Okay. 1947 to 1949. This is when things get horrible. Okay. So this is when the Nakba happens. Okay. So the Nakba means the disaster or the cataclysm in Arabic. And at this time, up to 900,000 Palestinians flee or are expelled from their homes in the part of the land that becomes the state of Israel. Right? Right, Frozo, a catastrophe. So almost 1 million people are expelled from their homes. 900,000. Yes. Right, that's how you spell it, Murillo, the Nakba. And they are expelled from their homes. And they are then told this is going to be the land that belongs to Israel now. So even today, folks, by the British and by the Jewish folks, no. So the estimates have always been, Bree, between 750 to 900,000. I'm reading a historical document, so I'm going to go, and it says up to 900,000. So the estimates that I've always heard are between 750 to 900,000. Thank you, Frozo. 15,000 of those were unalived in the process. Correct. So, yes. So 15,000 of those people were killed while they were being expelled from their homes. Okay. So this is the part where we talk about April 9th and 11th in 1948. And this is the Deir Hassin massacre. And this is when between 100 and 254 Palestinian villagers, mainly women, old people, and children, were killed during and after an attack on the village of Deir Yassin near Jerusalem, again by Ergen members. So Ergen members, again, would be the Zionist terrorist. So I'm going to interject something that's not in this timeline, but that is a historical document that exists in my link tree. Okay. So there's a thing that occurs May 4th of 1948 because the British are supposed to leave Palestine May 15th of 1948. And I'm going to pull up this document because there's parts of it that I want to read specifically for you guys. So there it is. I crack myself up having all of this shit bookmarked and favorited. Okay, but here we go. So I'm going to share this part with you because I want you to see it, but let me find it. All right. So here's what happens. So because the British know that they are going to withdraw from Palestine, there's a problem. Why? Because there's fighting. There's fighting between the Zionist terrorist groups, right? And Palestinians. Okay. And you got to remember, the British have armed these folks. The British have trained them. The British have, done all of the things to help them establish their Jewish national home, right, for the Zionist Federation. And now there's a problem. So what the Brits are now trying to do, because it's time for them to leave, is they want to try to negotiate a truce, right? So this is a historical document that is at the Office of the Historian, and it's on the State Department's website. Okay, right. And the Palestinians had no army, right? So the subject of this document, so 15,000, Chris, but then 750,000 up to 900,000 were expelled from their homes, or they fled from their homes rather than be unalive. But 15,000 were killed during that time, during the Nakba. That is why this is why you have so many people slammed into the small pieces of land that are now Palestine, right? Is because the Zionist, well, CH, why don't you come tell me how I've lied? Come join the panel. Come on. Come on, CH. If I lied, come tell me I lied. Come tell me how and when. What did I say that's a lie? Come on. Yeah, Chris. You coming, CH? No, that's what I thought. So let me tell you all something, okay? If you come into my space and you accuse me of not telling the truth, then I'm going to expect for you to get your ass on this panel and tell me what it is that I'm lying about and provide documentation to back up what you're saying. Because I will absolutely provide you documentation to back up what I'm saying. And that is how facts work, my friend. Okay. So here's what happens. So on May 4th, 1948, there is a draft memorandum that is written, and it was declassified in 2018. Okay. And it was classified as secret at the time, but it was declassified, and it's like I said, it's on the Secretary of State's website under the Office of the Historian. And here's the title of the document. It is Draft Memorandum by the Director of the Office of United Nations Affairs, which is Rusk, to the Undersecretary of State, who is Lovett at the time. And this is what it says, okay? He says, the refusal of the Jewish Agency last night to agree to our proposal for on-the-spot truce negotiations in Palestine on the grounds that they could not accept the quote-unquote moral obligation to undertake such conversations rather clearly reveals the intention of the Jews to go steadily ahead with the Jewish separate state by force of arms. So what is he saying? He is saying, listen, last night we asked the Arabs and the Jews to agree to a truce. And the Jewish people said, nope, we have a moral obligation not to do that. What's the moral obligation, folks? It ain't nothing but the Zionist agenda for the Greater Israel Project. That's all it is. Because what moral obligation? How could you morally not want a truce? How is it moral to not want a truce? You follow me? Right. So he then goes on to say, that they said that they could not accept the moral obligation to undertake such conversations, rather clearly reveals the intention of the Jews to go steadily ahead with the Jewish separate state by force of arms. Now, who armed them? The Brits and us, right? And then it says this: while it is possible that Arab acceptance of our proposal might place the Jewish agency in such a position via public opinion that it would have to go through the motions of looking for a truce, right? It seems clear that in light of the Jewish military superiority, which now obtains in Palestine, the Jewish agency will prefer to round out its state after May 15th, which is when the Brits are leaving, and rely on its armed strength to defend that state from Arab, and this part's important, counterattack. This part's important. They didn't say from Arab attack. They said Arab counterattack. They said the Jewish agency has said, we are not looking for a truce. We are going to take what we want by force. We have the arms to do it. And the UN is saying what will happen is the Arabs will have a counterattack. So this idea that somehow Palestine was attacking Israel for no reason is absolute bullshit. Now, here's the second paragraph, and I'm going to show it to you since people over here on TikTok want to talk shit. Here, let me give you the actual document. Y'all ready? You want to see it? You want to hear it? Here it go. Here, let me show you. God doesn't have chosen people. God is no respecter of persons. Read your Bible. So here's what it says. So military operations after May 15th will probably be undertaken by the Haganah with the assistance of the what? Jewish terrorist organizations, Ergen and Stern. So the IDF today that exists is a combination of the Haganah and the two existing Jewish terrorist organizations, Ergen and Stern. And so the General Wasson of the Brits, he wrote some reports and he sent them in a telegram the day before, because this is May 3rd and this document is May 4th, 1948, right? And he said, listen, copies of General Wasson's excellent reports are attached, and they provide the estimate of the British general officer commanding as to the probable course of military events after British withdrawal on May 15th. And it says, this is the part that gets really interesting, so pay attention, folks. If these predictions come true, we shall find ourselves in the UN confronted by a very anomalous situation. The Jews will be the actual aggressors against the Arabs. However, the Jews will claim that they are merely defending the boundaries of a state which were traced by the UN and approved, at least in principle, by 2/3 of the UN membership. The question which will confront the Security Council in scarcely 10 days' time will be whether Jewish armed attack on Arab communities in Palestine is legitimate, or whether it constitutes such a threat to international peace and security as to call for coercive measures by the Security Council. And then it goes on to say, the situation may be made more difficult and less clear-cut if, as is probable, Arab armies from outside Palestine cross the frontier to aid their disorganized and demoralized brethren who will be the objects of Jewish attack. In the event of such Arab outside aid, the Jews will come running to the Security Council with the claim that their state is the object of armed aggression, and they will use every means to obscure the fact that it is their own armed aggression against the Arabs inside Palestine, which is the cause of the Arab counterattack. And for the person who said, "What the fuck am I reading?" It's called facts. It's called Office of the Historian, Department of State, United States of America. See that? See that? It used to be classified secret. They declassified it. It's on the history.state.gov website. That's what the fuck I'm reading. I know it's confusing when somebody actually has a fact-based document, but here it is, beloved. Okay. So here's what the UN just said to the United States of America. The Brits are about to pull out. And when they do, the Jewish agency is going to attack Palestine. And if any of the other Arab nations come to their assistance, then they are going to come running to us and they're going to claim that they are being attacked by the Arabs when it's actually them who are the aggressors, right? And that's what Israel continues to say year after year after year after year after year after year. Okay? So, now let's keep going, right? And listen, if there is one of you that would like to tell me how wrong I am, you know how to hit that damn request button right there. See that big box right there? See that big box that says request and the plus sign? Find your way on up here. Come on, G. Would you like to come have a conversation with me, G? All right. So, good evening, Marilyn. All right. So, next, okay, as we continue to understand what has taken place. Now, what I like to do right here is to give you like a regular explanation as to what has happened. Okay. Is it okay if I give you like a little illustration, right? Can I give you a little illustration? Yes? Okay. I'm going to give you a little illustration. All right. So here's the illustration, and I've used this one often, but this is kind of how I break this down. Yes, Jamie the house. All right. So here's the deal, folks. So you have your house that you live in that you own. Okay. And I tell you, listen, your house is outdated. So I'm going to come and help you put in modern plumbing and get new appliances and some solar panels. And I'm going to make sure that your house is modern so that it can function in the modern world and keep up with everybody else and increase the value of your house. Okay. I'm going to be your big brother and I'm going to come in and I'm going to help you do those things. What I don't tell you is that I'm going to bring some people with me, and I've already told them that they can have part of your house. And when I bring those people with me that I told that they can have part of your house, I gave them weapons and I trained them. Okay. So when we get there, right, I say, listen, you can have this bedroom, you can have this kitchen, you can have this bathroom, but the rest of this, it belongs to you because it's your house. Got it? And then after, we get everything situated and everything, and I'm ready to leave because I've done my part. And you guys are fighting because guess what? The people I brought with me are like, damn, I like that bedroom over there. I think I want that bedroom along with the bedroom that you said I could have. And they try to take it. And then you're like, get the hell out my bedroom. You can't have my bedroom. This is my bedroom. No, you may not. And so before I leave, I say, listen, can we all just get along? And you're like, okay, as long as they understand they can't take my shit. And the people that I brought are like, nah, we can't just get along. And I don't want a truce because you know what? I got these weapons and I've been trained. And that means I can take what I want. I want the other bedrooms. I want the backyard. I want the kitchen. I want whatever. And I'm like, shit. Now, listen, in your neighborhood, you got all these other neighborhoods that live in your community, these other neighbors, right? And I have deals with those other neighbors. So I get some gold from this neighbor, and then I get some oil from this neighbor, and like I get some little cash from this neighbor. Like, I have relationships with your neighbor. And if your neighbors start to come and help you because they love you, you're in their neighborhood, you're their people, right? If your neighbors start to come and help you, right, then we don't have a damn problem because maybe I won't get all the things that I have, right, with the neighbors, right? Now, let's just say, for example, you are in your house and they take more and more and more of your house until you are actually confined to one bedroom. And the people that I brought to your house can now tell you if you get to leave your bedroom, when you get to leave your bedroom, if you can eat, how much you can eat, where you can go. Matter of fact, if I let you leave your room, I'll tell you which hallway you get to walk in your own house. Now, let's just say that that's the conditions that you've been living under since I brought those people and then I left, right? If you sit in your bedroom and you're like, you know what, fuck these people, and you start looking around in your closet and you're like, what do I have in here that I can use to fight back? And you MacGyver some weapons, and after 10 years, 15 years, no matter how many years go by, if one day you decide to bust through the door, right, and fight the people that are keeping you locked in your bedroom, are you wrong for defending your house? No, because it's your house. It doesn't matter how many years have gone by, it's your house. So whenever you choose to fight back, whenever you can fight back, whenever you want to take back what belongs to you, especially after those people have killed your people, starved your people, raped your women and your men. Okay? So that is the situation that we are currently in. Now, let's keep going with history because right now we're just up to 1949, right? We've gotten through the Nakba, which is 1948, and the Deir Hassin massacre in April of 1948. And now May 15th happens. This is the day that the Brits are leaving. And guess what they do? They declare that Israel is a Jewish state. The British withdraw from Palestine, right? The Arab-Israel War, Egypt, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Lebanon declare war on Israel. Egypt, Jordan, and Syria invade Israel. That's the neighborhood coming to help out. Okay? April 1949, Israel and Arab states agree an armistice. Israel has taken about 50% more land in 1 year from 1948, from May 1948 to April 1949. Israel has taken 50% more land than was originally given to them by the UN partition plan. In 1956, Egypt nationalizes the Suez Canal on July 26th. France, Britain, and Israel plan an invasion of Egypt. I'm going to say who those people are again. You ready? France, Britain, and Israel plan an invasion of Egypt. Israel invades the Sinai Peninsula on October the 29th, 1956. And then with pressure from the US and Russia, imagine that, it forces France, Britain, and Israel to withdraw. May 1964, the PLO is founded. That is the Palestinian Liberation Organization. It is founded in Cairo by the Arab League. The PLO states that its goal is the destruction of Israel through armed struggle and the restoration of an independent Palestinian state between the river and the Mediterranean Sea. Now, for all of you that say, oh, well, they say they want to get rid of Israel, miss me with it, y'all. You can miss me with it because Israel instigated this entire fucking mess. Israel, the Brits, this is their doing. This is their doing. Okay? Just to be clear. And every time your ass watches a movie, you root for the people that are Palestinian. I just want to be clear. If you have watched Law Abiding Citizen and you root for the husband when he comes back to kill everybody that killed his wife and his daughter, you root for Palestine. If you watch the movie Peppermint and you root for Jennifer Garner after the people kill her husband and her child, guess what? You root for Palestine. You do it in every other situation. This is why you must take religion out of it. Okay? So, yes, Israel is responsible not only for the creation of Hezbollah in Lebanon, but Israel is responsible for the creation of Hamas. And we all know that there have been times when Bibi Netanyahu actually funded Hamas in order for it to suit his objective of not having a Palestinian state be recognized. Okay, so here we go. June 1967. This is the 6-Day War. Israel launches and I'm not using this word. This is such bullshit. When people say a preemptive attack, nope, and nope. I'm not doing that. Israel attacks Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. Israel captures the Sinai Peninsula and the Gaza Strip from Egypt, the Golan Heights from Syria, and the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan. In this year, Israel begins settlement program in areas captured during the 6-Day War. Now, something that is not mentioned in here that I am going to interject here, also in 1967, during the 6-Day War, is when Israel fires upon the USS Liberty, knowing that it is the USS Liberty, and kills US soldiers. And the United States of America does nothing about it. Okay? Israel is the one country that has been able to kill Americans and done nothing about it. 1967. In 1967, you can Google this, look up the USS Liberty. And I will help you if you would like. Hold on. You can actually even go to the website. Do you know that there are survivors of this attack? And if you go to ussliberty.org, if you go there to the website, these veterans actually have this website set up, and I'm going to show you. And they actually tell you what happened and how they feel betrayed by their country for not defending them. All right. So give me a second. There was no excuse. They said, oh, we didn't know, but they knew. All right. So here, I'm going to show you. This is, let me turn it around. This is the USS Liberty. Okay. And so this is the USS Liberty Veterans Association, honoring the past, inspiring the future, bringing the truth of what happened on June the 8th, 1967 to the USS Liberty and to the American people. So this is the day that the USS Liberty was attacked, right? It was an American naval intelligence ship, and it was attacked. Now get this, it had a US flag that it was flying, and they clearly identified itself. The ship was targeted by Israeli fighter jets and torpedo boats. The assault lasted for several hours. So you're telling me, Israel, that for several hours you didn't see the fucking American flag or the American soldiers? So the assault lasted for several hours, causing severe damage. 34 American soldiers were killed, and it tested the crew's resilience and the courage in the face of unexpected betrayal. And so they actually talk about this, and these veterans, they put together, these are the people that were killed that day, and the veterans, they record videos and they talk about it and what it means to them and how they feel. Look, God saved us from God's chosen people. How about that? So, and just let me just give y'all a little bit. Okay, these are the survivors, and they tell their story. Now, just so that everybody understands, and I'm just going to give you some recent things, okay? Let's see. Yeah, I know, Kat. I know. All right. So, hey, Steph, good to see you. All right. So, in 2000, you guys help me. Is Rachel Corrie 2000 or 2002? So Rachel Corrie is a U.S. citizen who is in Palestine, standing between a bulldozer and a Palestinian's house. And Israel ran over her. Listen to me, a little bitty blonde girl standing between a bulldozer, an Israeli bulldozer, and a Palestinian house, and they ran her the fuck over. And the United States of America did nothing. Last year, we had a Palestinian American teenager, Mohammed Ibrahim, 15 years old, visiting his relatives in Palestine. And what occurs? So Israel picks him up. Yeah, Rachel Corrie. Israel picks him up, says, oh, he's throwing rocks at a tank. They put him in an Israeli prison. He is in that Israeli prison until Thanksgiving Day. So the United States of America, while the president is in Israel, bragging about how well Israel used our weapons, while the Secretary of State is in Israel, while 250 state representatives are in Israel, we have a 15-year-old Palestinian American in an Israeli prison, and nobody gets him out. And it doesn't matter that there are hundreds of organizations that have written to the State Department or that his family has done that, period. And like I said, folks, we do not put teenage children in prisons, whether they throw rocks at a tank or fucking not. Period. So let me just for the people that don't get it, y'all get on my nerves. So when this kid went, and I will show you. And by the way, thank you to all of the trolls and the Zios that are in the chat, because you are just helping me spread the word. You're doing a great job of helping the TikTok algorithm push me out. So thank you for doing the Lord's work. I appreciate it greatly. So let me share this with you all. So this is Mohammed Ibrahim before. Okay, see him? This is him afterwards. He's so tiny. He's so thin. See? They don't care. All right. So I'm going to continue. They sure did torture him. They sure did. All right. So let me keep going. Okay. So then you fast forward to 1968 to 1970, and this is the War of Attrition. Okay. Limited war was fought between Egypt and Israel, in which Egypt attempts to regain the Sinai Peninsula that was lost in the 6-Day War. It ended with a ceasefire in August of 1970 with the same frontiers as at the start. Okay. 1972, you have 11 member. Well, let me go back. February 2nd, 1969 is when Yasser Arafat is appointed the chairman of the PLO. 1972 is 11 members of the Israeli Olympic team and one German police officer are killed by a Palestinian group, Black September, at the Munich Olympics, right? Lamont, shush your mouth. You are funny, bro. You are hilarious. All right. So I think that we can pause right there, right? Can we do that? We can pause right there, or should we keep going? It's up to you guys. There's a lot of other things that happen and get us all the way up to today. I do have mods, Springwater. I do. Yep, I do have mods. I was gonna stop for a second and see if, yeah, they are disrespectful, but here's the thing, right? So one of the things that's important. Oh, wait, I do want to keep going for just a second. Okay, I want to keep going for just a second. I want to fast forward all the way to, let me see where I want to start. So just so everyone knows, in 2005, right, Mohammed Abbas is elected the president of the Palestinian National Authority. Okay. In 2006 is when Hamas wins a majority of seats in the Palestinian legislative election. By the way, those elections, the Carter Foundation comes down for all of the elections in Palestine to kind of be there and assess them and all the things. Okay. Frozo, are you good, or do you want to come up before you go? It's entirely up to you. Or you can come back tomorrow. It's whatever you want to do. I know it's late where you are. I forget about the time difference. It's up to you, my friend. Okay, entirely up to you. I'll let you come up for just a moment and I'll let you add to it as well, my friend.
Good evening. It is mermaid evening.
I know. Yeah, I know it's late over there. I forgot about the time difference. But
yeah, it's quarter to 12 over here. It's almost midnight. But yeah, this is. I mean, to us, we already know this history, but it seems like the ignorance, or should I say, this confident stupidity of certain types of people somehow manages to amaze me, even though I thought that I shouldn't be shocked by the fact that such people exist. I keep thinking, oh, you're not going to shock me because I've seen how stupid you can be. Then they just get even worse somehow, some way.
100%. It's amazing.
Reading.
Go ahead.
You're reading public facts.
Yes.
On a government website,
right,
of official documents.
Yes.
And people are still saying that you're not interested in the truth.
Right.
How on earth does that make sense? How did your mind could physically conceived that such thoughts made any sense?
Yeah.
And then type in a TikTok comment section.
Yeah, it's so wild to me. And what's funny to me is simply this. It would be different. But what's crazy about this is I'm literally reading US documents. If anybody was going to not tell the truth, it would be us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even the US is saying, no, this is the correspondence that we got from the UN, and this is what is. And this is why it's so important to let history and facts be your friend and to separate your religion or your faith from it, because facts are just facts. And if you can't get it, then you just don't get it.
I think it's not just religious beliefs. I think a lot of people. Sorry, I have bad hay fever.
That's okay.
A lot of people are just also deeply racist.
100%.
Right. They've taken the whitey supremacy to such an extent that they don't even see the global South as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is. Right, because when you don't see someone as a human being, it is acceptable for any atrocity to be committed against them, and they shouldn't have the rights to defend themselves from your atrocities.
Yeah.
That's a part of it. And so when we're bringing out these facts, right, of the barbarity that is being done to the global South, their minds can't compute, right, that they can be so savage. Because the mind's like, we're the civilized ones. We're the superior culture.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We're supposed to be the nice people, the good people, the heroes. So when they're seeing these documents showing that you are indeed you are not the heroes, you are actually the savages, you are the villains, right, in the story, they're engaging in a sort of cognitive dissonance where they're having to decide as to whether or not they should accept the fact and engage with it critically and change their view, or to remain in their feelings and to deny what is happening.
Yeah.
And because of the white supremacy, it's just much easier to just deny what is happening.
You know, it is absolutely wild to me that it's that cognitive dissonance that exists, right? That just doesn't allow people to accept the truth about themselves and the truth about their country and the truth about history. And it's really important because here's my thing, until we get there, we will never be able to create anything different, right? So when you say, why is it okay for these Arab countries to not care about Western children? Since when do they not care about Western children? Here's what I would say. There's nothing that they have done to Western children except when you send your Western children to their country to try to take their shit. Like, other than that, your Western children, they have no impact on.
I mean, the ones saying that they don't care about Western children have actually never been to the global South. I'm from the global South. We love the West. Collectively, in spite of the crimes that have been committed against us, in spite of the fact that you project a lot of hatred onto us, and we have endured a lot of your savagery, we don't hate you. We literally don't hate you. Whenever you speak to people back home, and they know that you're a Western person, I'm telling you, a lot of them will kiss the ground that you walk on.
Yeah.
That is the amount of respect that they have for you, simply because they see you, as a civilized individual. So, and therefore they see you as a nice person, irrespective of the crimes that your state has committed against them.
They do a great job of separating us from our country, from our government. And Americans don't do that because we've bought into the propaganda that we've been taught, right? It is really difficult for folks in America to understand the entire time that we have been told it's other countries that that are the terrorists. It's other countries that limit the media. It's other countries that propagandize their citizens when it's actually the United States of America that does that. It's us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's us. It's literally what they have been saying everyone else does is really what they have been doing. And this is the time that it's kind of coming to a head where people are going to have to choose whether or not they are going to accept facts and do something about it to create a country that is truly great or not. That's it. And those of you who don't want to choose a country and help make it truly great, you will just be left behind. You will just be left behind because the majority of this country wants something different than what has always existed. And many, many people in this country have woken up and continue to wake up to the facts.
Yeah, I think that is what helped me to not fall into nihilism, because it's so easy to fall into nihilism and just sheer apathy. And confidently stupid people aren't exactly helping.
Right.
In fact, they're a massive detriment, and that shows that, to me, the problem isn't education, right? Because they can be educated, you can be given the facts, but if your feelings are so fragile, if your desire to want to hold on to your feeling of supremacy over others is so overwhelming that it is stopping you from physically seeing other people as human beings that deserve basic human decency and basic human dignities that you would want for yourself, you are the problem. Education isn't the problem. Ideology is not the problem. It's you. You as an individual, something is wrong with you.
And this is what I say about religion. This is what I say about faith, beliefs, whatever it is, right? It's not that thing that is the problem. So like people want to blame it on religion. It's not the religion itself. It's what you choose to do with the religion, right? It's you. It's no one else. It's not the devil. It's not the sun. It's you. It's literally you. And so that's the thing that people really need to understand is that however you show up in the world, let me just 100%, I will tell you this. I have never met someone, never, that practices Islam and seen them be hateful or seen them be disrespectful or see that, like, I've never seen it, not in real life. Like and I'm sure there are some, right? I'm sure. It just, but I haven't encountered it. But on the daily, I encounter people that identify as Christians being the most hateful, the most judgmental, the most derogatory. It is, I mean, it's vile and it just drips off their tongue. And it's every day. And I said this earlier. I said the amount of people, especially on my Facebook, I said the amount of people that are in my comments that claim to be Christian that are being so hateful and so judgmental is the reason why people are leaving the church and leaving your religion.
Yeah, me as a Muslim, right? I've actually met a lot of Muslims. I put Muslims in quotation marks, but I actually think that they're agents. Who have Muslim sounding names. They have Arabic profiles. They pretend they have this holier than thou attitude. And I call them textbook spammers because they'll just throw verses at you to justify their evilness and their vileness and oftentimes their misogyny and just sheer hatred for any kind of pushes or desires for justice and unification and burying old grudges, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I have repeatedly called them out over the past year, and the amount of death threats I've actually got from them is actually, it's impressive.
Right.
It's quite impressive.
That's a good word.
I would say that I am proud of the fact that, you know, I have gotten so many death threats, because it means that I'm actually doing something right and making certain people uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, you take some pride in it. So I just want to address something that Wonderful said in the comments. He said, quote, Christians are not unaliving women and oppressing women. And I would beg to differ. And let me tell you what happens. Okay. So Christians hide behind their morality and the laws that they make. And Christians love to do things. And because they do it, through the law, or because they do it through corporations, okay, then it doesn't seem as though they are doing what they're doing. So let me be clear. When Christians worked so diligently to overturn Roe v. Wade with the Dobbs decision, and put women's access to necessary health care at risk, and cause even more maternal deserts, right? They, in fact, are killing women and oppressing women. In period, right? Hold on one second. Hold on, guys. Okay, sorry guys, I had a call. But so here's the thing. So for example, so I have this thing that I say all the time, Frozo, about corner boys. So in the U.S., we like to demonize the corner boys on the corner that maybe engage in the devil's lettuce, right? They sell the devil's lettuce, and you know the Clintons called them super predators and thugs, right? The president currently calls them thugs and the worst of the worst and all of that, right? But what's interesting to me is we have corner boys in corporate suits in corner offices that make decisions every day that cost people their lives in the name of business and profits for their stockholders, right? That's what we have, and we think that it's okay because, oh well, it's business, and it's for the company, and it's for our projections and our growth and our this and our that. It's the same thing when you deny people insurance and access and all of those things. You are absolutely doing the same thing. And I want to also be clear, when you say Christians don't have honor killings, yes, they do. We just don't call them that. That's the dumbest shit ever. Yes, we do. We just make money off of it. We put it on Snapped and the first 48. That's all we do. People in the United States of America, Christians kill their, huh?
Crimes of passion, anyone?
Yeah, we just call them crimes of passion. We just call them crimes of passion. That is an honor killing over there. Yeah, it's the same thing. Y'all just want to call them different names, while your legislators want to make children available for brides at the age of 15 and 16. Y'all tickle me with this bullshit. It's the same thing. You just call it different things so it doesn't seem so bad. Women and girls do go to school, Wonderful. Women and girls do go to school. So let me tell you something. Palestinian women, their literacy rate, do you know how many Palestinian women I know that are architects and engineers? Iranian, their literacy rate is like 98, 99%. Same thing in Iran. Don't tell me that women don't go to school. Yes, they do. And they go to school for free in their countries, unlike the United States of America.
Palestinian women have a literacy rate of 98%. Palestinian men is 99%.
Correct. So you can miss me with that bullshit. Yes, they do go to school, except for when the IDF blocks them from going to school like they did yesterday and then hits them with tear gas and shit. Yes, they do. So let me be clear. I'm not anti-Christian. You are claiming what Christians don't do, and I am showing you that Christians do the very thing that you're saying they don't do. That's not anti-Christian. That's just fact. That's why this is called rights, religion, and reality. You just mad because you keep saying Christians don't do this. Yes, they do. Christians don't do that. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
And me as a Muslim, if I criticize any other community, I'm calling out my own first, especially as a Muslim and especially as a Nigerian, because before I start fixing any problem, you gotta clean house. Because 99% of the problems that you're gonna have if you want to fix something is always gonna come from in-house anyway. It's gonna be your own people that are gonna be the first ones to oppose you when you're trying to do anything right.
100%. 100%. And you asked me, do I know what an honor killing is? Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Do you? Do you know what it is? Because I do.
Here we go. Here we go. The whole Christians are getting G-sided in Nigeria.
And no, they're not. At 50, listen, I said this before and I'm going to say it again. 50% of Nigeria are Christians. It's literally a 50-50 damn country. So miss me with that bullshit.
52% Muslim, 40% Christian. But yeah.
Thank you.
50-50.
So there you go. And yeah, wow, I said no, they're not. That's what I said. The same way that white. Go ahead.
Any targeted mass unalivings of Christians by Muslims would literally spark a civil war that would destabilize the country. So I really, people who are making this statement, number one, are really, really ignorant about the geography of the country, ignorant about the population distribution, ignorant about the population demographics as well.
Yes.
So please do not, again, confidently speak about something that you can't even point out on a freaking map. You don't even know where Nigeria is on a map. Don't speak about it, please.
Yeah.
You don't even know the basic facts.
Yeah.
It's really simple, right? You know, you're the same people that was quiet when the same group that was unaliving Christians was unaliving Muslims and mass blowing up masjids in the north of Nigeria. You weren't seeing anything then.
They don't say anything about the IDF they don't say anything about the IDF that blew up the temple or that prevents Christians like Palestinian Christians. Listen, Israel, the IDF does not stop and go, oh, are you a Palestinian Muslim? Are you a Palestinian Jew? Are you a Palestinian Christian? They don't do any of that. You're Palestinian, so you get to die. That's what they do.
And the fact that they've permanently stopped Muslims from worshipping in the Al-Aqsa Mosque as well. I don't see any outrage coming from you about that.
Right. So
here we go. 90% of Christian girls in Sudan go through genital.
Okay. Well, let me tell you something. If the United States of America spent as much time focusing on what it does to the women and girls in the United States of America, we would be so much better off. Why is who being condescending? Why is who being condescending, Michelle?
Condescending.
Oh, hold on a second. Who are you asking is being condescending? You mean Frozo? He's not being condescending. He is talking about people that are talking about his country, where he's from, and he knows more than they do about his country. And he is tired of the lies and the bullshit that is being spread about his country. So that's not condensation. That's being tired of the fuckery. And yes, Islam is the only Abrahamic religion that recognizes the other two Abrahamic religions. You are correct. You are correct, 100%. Listen, folks, I'm gonna just be clear. If you want to know why I have the position that I have on these things, is because I have spent the last year or so becoming very well informed about the things that I was taught to believe, the things that I was propagandized to believe. And I've looked at historical documents, not hearsay, not one person's opinion, but all over the place. And by the way, there is a difference between something that occurs on a small scale and then something that is happening all over the country. Same thing in this country. Okay? Same thing in this country. And so it's incredibly important for people just to be accurate. And I'm not as tolerant for people who, it's different if you don't know. It's different if you have just plain out ignorance. Ignorance is not a bad thing. Ignorance just means you don't know something. I'm ignorant about how to fly a plane. I know that I don't know how to fly a plane, right? And there are things that I don't know that I don't know. Things that I did not know. I did not know about the Balfour Declaration a year ago. I did not know about the Nakba a year ago. I did not know about the Zionist Federation and the Jewish Zionists and Rothschild being the president of it. These are all the things that I did not know, right? Now that I know them, I cannot unknow them. And here's the thing about me. This is my personal way of being, okay? Once I learn that I have been wrong about something, even if it was unintentionally wrong, even if it's well intentionally wrong, once I know that I have been wrong about something, I'm going to be as loud in my correcting of that information as I was in the opposite, right? So as much as I may have talked about Iran or Palestine or Iraq, right, before, is as loud as I'm going to be now about the facts. And facts don't excuse anybody's behavior. Every country does bad things. But what's funny about this is everybody wants to act like the United States of America is superior. And the reality is, no, we're not. To much of the world, we are the terrorists. What's up, Dantrell? To much of the world, we are them. And that's just the case. So you're asking me about the news. Do you know what I don't do? I don't believe everything that the news says. Do you want to know why? Because in the United States of America, there are 5 companies that own over 80% of the mainstream news in this country, and they are all owned by the same damn people that have the same damn agenda. So no, I would rather go to other sources and find out facts. So I'm not a girl that watches CNN. I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch NBC. I don't watch CBS. It's just not my jam. I go other places.
You know
Go ahead,
if
Rosa.
if you want to get real news of what's going on the ground, I don't know, why don't you speak to people who are actually on the ground? Start there. I actually know the people on the ground. I have direct connections and I have direct ways to reach them, so they actually tell me what is going on the ground.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just really important he's from Nigeria. He has a British accent. Bro, I can't with you. I'm not with you. I'm just not. You do realize that people can have different accents when they go to other places for school and things like that, right? I can take somebody from the Bronx. I can bring their ass to Texas. They can live in Texas and may still sound like they're in the Bronx. I can take somebody from, I don't know, Kansas. I can put them in the Bronx. And after 20 years in the Bronx, they might sound like a New Yorker.
I've been speaking English since the day I was born. Do you know why? Because Nigeria was colonized by the British. So the English language was something that I grew up learning.
And how many other languages?
Know that. 360 other languages.
Yeah, thank you. Just saying. It's just, crazy to me, the things that people say. Literally, my Nigerian friend right now just landed in China. I could call him up and ask. So, and I want to be clear about some things, folks. There is a difference. So let me just talk about something. Correlation does not equal causation. I want to say that again. Correlation doesn't mean causation. And here's what I mean by that. So let's just say that I go right now to my Facebook page and I look at all the hateful comments that are on my page, and I go to all of their profiles, and all of them say Christ first, conservative Christian, follower of Christ, Jesus is king. That does not mean that they are all horrible, hateful people because they are Christians. It just means they happen to be Christians and horrible, hateful people. So what I would fathom, right, is that just because people are Christians and something happens to them, that doesn't mean it happens to them because they're Christians. Just so that we're clear. Yeah, it does, Butter's house. 100% it does. So I just miss me with it, people. I just don't buy it. What I find is a lot of people want to demonize the global South. Why? Because the majority of the global South are Black and brown countries. And the West has a hard time understanding that those people are equals. I would argue in many ways superior. That's just my opinion. And when I say in many ways, I'm just talking because of race. I'm talking about, so like this idea that these folks are civilized, right? Like the United States of America. You think it's civilized because you eat with a fork and a spoon instead of your hands. I don't think it's civilized because you let your children be hungry in this country, right? So I would rather be in a country where we eat with our hands and feed our children than to live in a country where we eat with a fork and a spoon, but let children go to school hungry. That to me is not civilized. See, what I find in this country and in the West is that we are more interested in how things look. We want what looks civilized, but we don't actually practice what's civilized, right? When we have governors across the state that refuse to accept, when we have governors across the country that refuse to accept federal funding to feed children during the summer, that is neither civilized nor Christian. Neither. I see plenty of Christians and atheists move to Muslim countries. I will tell you this: a lot of Christians, they love to go to Muslim countries and try to colonize them. What are you talking about? Christians go to Muslim countries all the time. They just go to try to colonize them. That's all.
They routinely go to Morocco, they go to Dubai, they go to Saudi. They go to Saudi quite frequently, mind you. There's a lot of them in Nigeria, my home country, specifically in the north as well, the Muslim part of the country.
Mhm.
You'll find a lot of atheists in the north as well. You'll also find them in the south. You routinely go to the global south. You seem to hate it a lot, but you love to go there for some reason.
100%.
It's really, really strange.
And get a tan while you're there. Sorry, and get a tan while you're there. You want to get your hair braided and shit too? Like for real. Y'all be all about it. You come back with some waist beads, your hair braided, and a tan. That's what you like to do. And then you come back and you want to know who can make fufu.
But wonderful. It's because most of you can't afford to go there. That's why you don't go there. Because it's not exactly cheap. You know, you're just gonna hop on a flight and you go to next month's country. Like, you actually have to plan. You actually have to know someone there, because obviously you're not going to be speaking the language. So you have to know someone who speaks English and speaks the language. And that means you have to actually socialize with people and actually connect with people online who know the country. That's a lot of work. That requires research and a lot of humility.
Yeah.
Something which you clearly don't have.
And I want to offer you this because y'all know I love me some damn documents and facts. I just do. I'm that girl. Are you ready? So I'm going to read from you from a UN document from January of this year. Wonderful. I hope you are still here, my friend, and that you listen. So this is from the UN. This is from January 29th of 2026. Got it? So if I go down here, recent attacks against churches and Christian schools have revived international attention. In January, more than 160 worshipers were abducted during Sunday services. Days earlier, villages in the Northwest were attacked, killing dozens, while students near a Catholic school were again targeted. The violence revived memories of a 2014 abduction of 276 schoolgirls, most of them Christian, a moment that was once galvanized global outrage. Dinner's coming. Okay. Yeah. Now check this out. Citing the need to protect Christians from Islamic militants, the U.S. administration ordered airstrikes on Christmas Day. Right? Now look at this. The UN is refraining from that characterization. Quote, attributing this violence to the targeted persecution of a religious group, I would not take that step. The vast majority of the more than 40,000 people killed in the insurgency are Muslims. They were attacked and killed in mosques. I just want to read that part again. I just want to, I got to do it again. I got to do it again. Here we go. Attributing this violence to the targeted persecution of a religious group, I would not take that step. The vast majority of the more than 40,000 people killed in the insurgency are Muslims. They were attacked and killed in mosques. So you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Israel wanting to act like they've been attacked when in fact it was a counterattack. It just tickles me. So here's the thing is let me tell you why you care about Christians. Because in your mind, Christian equals white. That's why you care. Y'all ain't never cared about Muslims. The same way you've never cared about Palestinians. The same way you've never cared about Africans. The same way you've never cared about Mexicans. The same way you've never cared about Puerto Ricans. The same way you didn't care about Hawaiians. Same way you've never cared about Cubans. The same way you don't care about Haiti. That's why. And you know you damn sure ain't cared about Black people in the United States of America. Right? So that's the problem. That's the problem.
Can we stop this whole agree to disagree when facts are pointed to you? Right? Your entire claim is that Boko Haram specifically targeted Christians because they're Christian. And the United Nations is saying, no, that's not true because most of the victims, the vast majority, are Muslim.
Correct.
Which is what I'm saying. Which is what the people on the ground are saying.
No, I did not say there were no attacks. You lie. Wonderful. I did not say there were no attacks on Christians. What I said is that there's no, what was the word he used? Christians are being persecuted, targeted, G-sided. And I said, no, they're not, because they ain't. That's what I said. Don't misquote me.
There's a difference between Christians not being unalived and G-side. G-side is claiming that there's a specific targeted unaliving of specifically minority Christians in the north of Nigeria. That is not true.
Correct. The same way it ain't happening in South Africa.
Exactly. Boko Haram is specifically targeting communities, right, that are vulnerable. And this is why I believe that the government is actually complicit in the insecurity of the north, right? Because it is not just that they're kidnapping Muslims and Christians. In fact, these kind of groups are being used to also disappear political rivals as well.
So let me just read to you the rest of this. So after he said that the majority of the 40,000 people killed in the insurgencies are Muslim, he pointed to an attack in, and I don't know how to say this, but I'm just going to give it a whirl. Maiduguri, which is the historic center of the insurgency. And it was carried out on Christmas Eve in an area between a mosque and a market where Muslim worshipers were targeted as they left prayers. So he goes on to say this, quote, insecurity affects everyone without distinction of religion or ethnicity. And he warned that oversimplified narratives risk deepening the social fractures rather than addressing their causes. And this is the thing, you are doing harm by acting as if there's a specific targeting and unaliving at Christians only. It's not about that. It's about vulnerable communities. It's literally about vulnerable communities, and they affect all types of people. The issue isn't the religions. It's just these people happen to be of them. And so there have been times when it's been a group of Muslims being attacked when they are leaving prayers, and Christians in church. Not because they're Muslim or Christians, but because they are vulnerable. Period.
Like literally when I think was it 300 Muslim girls from the north were kidnapped by Boko Haram. That was an outrage. Where's the outrage from the international community? Muslim girls were kidnapped by Boko Haram.
No,
where was the calls to find and to bring home the Muslim girls that were kidnapped? No calls.
But okay, so, and maybe one day I will do a live specifically about this, right? But there are plenty of studies about this. So how many of you all are familiar with the term missing white woman syndrome?
Never heard that term, but I get a feeling I know what it describes.
Yeah. So this is a thing, and I did a podcast episode about it years ago, and it actually talks about how when women go missing or girls go missing, if they are white, not only do they have a greater likelihood to make it into a news cycle, they stay in that news cycle 3 and 4 times longer than Black girls do, right? Same thing with Native American women, same thing with whatever. And these are just facts. You can go look at the studies. So, and I'm going to show you this just to watch. What's the name of the girl that was killed by her fiance that traveled around the country making YouTube videos in a van? What's her name? Just watch the comments. What's her name, y'all? Look at everybody. Put her name in there. Yep. Y'all know her name, don't you? What's the name of the little white girl that used to do pageants that was killed in her home? What's her name? What's that little girl's name? John Bonet. Look at y'all. Y'all are 2 for 2. You ready? What's the name of the white girl that went to Aruba after after graduating high school on her senior trip, and she was killed over there? What's her name? Look at that. Natalie Holloway. Y'all see that? Y'all see it happening? Right? What's the name of the pregnant woman that was killed by her husband in California when she was like 8 months pregnant? What's her name? Lacey Peterson. Look how well y'all are doing. Look how well y'all are doing. Yeah, look at that. So are y'all starting to get what I'm saying? Because what I would like for you to do, unless you are somebody that literally studies this, I would like for you to tell me the name of an indigenous or a Black woman that went missing, that made the national news and made the national news for days.
I genuinely can't name one. I can't even name one.
Come on, name me one, guys. Unless this is your thing and you like to look into it. Can you name one? So that's the point. This is what's called missing white woman syndrome. And there have been tons of studies about this, right? And some of the studies are specifically about not only what are the frequencies that they make the news, but how long they stay in the news, and if they don't. And it's worse for Indigenous women. It's really bad, especially because there's this line where it's a little blurred between tribal land and U.S. land, right? It's in between. And so this is a real thing. You can just point it out, but this is the way that society works. It doesn't make right. And this is why come May, in May, there is it's MMIW week, right? So that is missing and murdered Indigenous women. And you will see me post about it. You will see me do lives about it. You will see me change my profile and have the red hand because they deserve to be recognized as well. But that's a thing, right? And there's an issue between the FBI and local police and tribal police, and they don't work together. And so oftentimes it just happens, and that's how they get trafficked and all of those types of things. Okay. And so, yeah, you never hear of them. Exactly. And so that's the point that I'm making. That's the point, y'all. So I'm going to make another one for you. Okay. Follow me. This is my opinion as to why white people flinch when they hear the word white people. If I say white Americans, if I say white man, if I say white woman, you automatically take offense to it as if I'm saying something derogative about you. And the reason why is white people are used to just being people. You're not used to being called by a color. Right? So if you think about your news stories, if there's a missing woman, it doesn't say missing white woman. The only time you hear white people identified by being white is if somebody else in the story is black or brown. But you see the stories all the time about black teenagers or black men or black this all the time. You all white people are used to being the default. You get to just be people. You don't have to be a color. And that is why when you hear the term white people or white woman, right, you get offended because it sounds like I'm saying something derogatory about you. But I'm not. You're just not used to being labeled like a damn crayon. You're used to being the default. You just get to be people. We have to be black people or brown people or indigenous people. And that's if we get to be people at all. A lot of times we just get to be the blacks. Last time we just get, a lot of times we're just the blacks or blacks. We don't even get to be people. We just get to be blacks.
And also, they also get offended when I talk about my history as well.
Mm-hmm.
They get really, really offended because they've been taught about Africa that we're some kind of homogenous society that just lives in mud huts, who were so barbarian and savage that we don't actually know how to utilize our own resources that we have used for centuries.
Yep.
That we needed the white man to come and teach us how to use our own resources by stealing it from us and then denying us access to our own resources. How that's teaching you how to use your own resources, I don't know.
Right.
But that's how they've logicalized it. And when I push back and I give them the history, hold on a second. No. In West Africa, we had the Bornu Empire, we had the Songhai Empire, we had the Mali Empire, and these empires were trade centers and trade hubs for things like gold.
For the girls.
Like gold. And the richest man in history that we know of is Mansa Musa of the Mali Empire, who was a black man from West Africa. Gold had so much wealth that he devalued the price of gold because he was giving it away too much. When he went on his pilgrimage to Egypt, right, where he packed so much gold, he was handing it out, he devalued the price of gold for 10 years. And because of that, because of what he did, he attracted the Europeans to Africa.
So I'm just going to tell you something. Recently, do you know what I never knew about until recently? I never knew about the Berlin Conference in 1884 and 1885. How many of you are not familiar when I say the Berlin Conference? How many of you all are not familiar with it? Put a 1 in the chat if you're not familiar with the Berlin Conference. Because I hate to admit that I didn't for a long time. Huh?
She sweetie was whispering. Could you not hear me? She sweetie said that I was whispering.
Yeah, I could hear you. Now, he's not whispering. He's got allergies, right? All right. So check this out. So here's what happened. I'm sorry. I'm fixing the plates for my grandbabies at the same time. I multitask. So there was an initiative that was started by Germany, right? And it was organized by Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. And it brought together 14 Western powers, including the US, to establish rules for the colonization of Africa. And it was called the Scramble for Africa. And nobody from Africa was invited to the conversation, right? Yeah, there were 14 Western powers, including Belgium and all of them. So like literally before that, there were tribes in Africa and stuff, but they didn't have borders like that. They just didn't, it wasn't a thing until the Western powers made it a thing, right? And what's crazy is what happens and what followed after that, right, was King Leopold, who then he decided he wanted the Congo, the what is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo, because of all of its vast resources. And under King Leopold II, 13 million Congolese people were enslaved and killed. He unalived 13 million Congolese people. King Leopold II. But you don't ever hear about that. And that's in addition to the damn transatlantic slave trade. That's in addition to that. I just really want people to understand.
The colonization of Congo started in 1905 and it was called the Congo Free State. And
This is Bella.
King Leopold he ran it as if it was his own private enterprise. So it was from the Belgian government. And he essentially owned Congo, right? He treated it like he basically owned Congo. And he enslaved the Congolese people specifically to mine rubber.
Yep.
It was rubber. He must unalive 13 million people for rubber.
Yeah, it's okay. Give me 1 second. Let me help
Because
her.
they didn't have their own.
It's okay.
So I'm really bad at public speeches, but basically, he had certain quotas for rubber production, and if you didn't meet the quota, he would, be chopping off hands, chopping off legs.
Yep.
If you resisted, he would target your family, he would unalive your family members, and then castrate you as well.
Yep.
And the only way that we knew what he did was because he wrote it in his diary. Otherwise, we wouldn't even know what he did.
Dominic, your drink is here. Okay, 1 minute. Your sister has the charger. 1 minute. Your sister has the charger. You gotta let me breathe. Damn. Sorry, y'all. I am making sure that I have to do like all the duties, y'all. Okay. So that's a thing. And what you don't see is you don't see a whole ass museum about the Congolese people. You don't hear any of those things, right? This is not something that gets taught in our school books. This is not something that we know about, right? He forced Catholicism on the Congolese people the same way the Shah forced Westernization on Iranians.
In fact, he actually has a statue of himself in Belgium. There's actually a statue of King Leopold in Belgium. So he's been actively celebrated by Belgian society or the Belgian government. They recognize him as some kind of historic figure worthy of respect, even after the fact that he brutalized 13 million people to give them rubber.
So here's what I will do.
I keep saying again, for rubber.
For rubber. Yes. So I just want to tell you all. So what I will do is I will put this document. I will put these two documents, these two links in my link tree. One is from the United Nations General Assembly, written in 2020. Okay. This is a document written in 2020 in the United Nations by the Human Rights Council, which, by the way, if you do not know, the current president removed us from the Human Rights Council of the UN. If you don't know that, he removed us during his first term. Joe Biden put us back, and then the current president removed us again immediately after he took office in his second term. Okay, why we would ever want to be removed from a Human Rights Council is crazy, but that's a fact. Okay, so this document is called it's agenda item 9, and it's from June 15th through July 3rd of 2020. And the topic is racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related forms of intolerance, follow-up and implementation of the Durban Declaration and Program of Action, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can search the document real quick for you. Yes, here we go. So it literally, and I'm going to show it to y'all because y'all need to see it. Y'all need to see it. Love you, mean it, but you need to see it. So give me 1 second, y'all, because it's something that you need to know. Please, thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, Kat. Yes. Oh, hold on. Share. I hit the wrong button. Yes. All right. So watch this. And Frozo, anytime, I know it's late where you are, honey. If you need to, I don't mean to call you honey, but if you need to go to bed, you just let me know and I will drop you. No worries.
Yeah, no, you can drop me. I mean, I said I was going to stay for a bit. I ended up staying for half an hour.
I know. Well, I appreciate you as always. Yeah. So you need a little honey and some tea and a little vaporizer, humidifier. Yeah. Make that happen.
Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow.
Okay.
So,
sounds good.
See you all tomorrow.
All right. Have a good rest. All right, guys. So I want to show you this document from the UN. Okay. So as you can see, this is docs.un.org, and they literally refer to it as the Black Holocaust. How about that, you guys? And I'm reading the UN document verbatim. There is a Black African Holocaust, which claimed about twice the number of the victims of the Jewish white genocide, and which precedes it of a few decades. Between the end of the 19th century and early 20th century, Leopold II, King of Belgium, killed millions of Congolese exclusively for commercial reasons, rubber collection. This Black Holocaust has always been hidden. Nobody ever talks about it because, in our opinion, it does not have ideological, nor racial, nor religious motives, but exclusively economic ones. Instead, precisely for this reason, despite preceding the Jewish Holocaust, it is the closest to our contemporary world, a world that seems to have lost the dignity of every human person. Thus, there should be full awareness of it in all countries of the world, and to date, there being only economic reasons for it, it should be historically remembered everywhere, especially for this. We talk of numbers ranging from 10 to 25 million deaths, millions of hand-mutilated people because they were unable to collect the amount of rubber that was assigned daily, of intensive slave farms where women were raped at their first menstruation and forced to give birth to children who were to replace the slaves that were killed by working in rubber fields or as servants in private residences as soon as they had the physical ability, children aged 5 or 6 at most. We talk of, hold on. Many documents collected in the book, quote unquote, King Leopold's Ghost by Adam Hochschild, offer a detailed account of the way in which Leopold operated. Speaking of this huge tragedy, Hochschild's book is particularly well written and accessible, making it an excellent history book to start off with. Includes a more general analysis of systems of terror and offers a parallel between the actions of Belgian officials in the Congo and those of the Schmatzi officers during the Holocaust, according to Oxford University College's Library Review. A video documentary based on this book is a good synthesis of it. Roy, I'm live on YouTube right now. I'm literally live on YouTube right now. I will put the link to this document in my link tree for you all so that you can see. Okay? Yeah, you're welcome. So thank you, Scotty. It's really important for people to understand this is not a race card. This is not a victimization or any of that. It is a historical fact. And it is a historical fact that is not being taught, that is not being shared for a reason. Do I care? Okay, maybe I do. Okay, fine. I accepted and then Cheesy left. Y'all saw that, right? What did Cheesy want to say? Cheesy, I sent you another invite. It was a mistake? Well, I thought you had something to say. I did say that, sweetie. What was Cheesy saying before he had a lot to say? Okay, let's do it. Hey, good evening, Cheesy. How are you?
Oh, good morning from Australia. Oh my God, it's so good. How are you?
I'm great. So they were saying you had a lot of things to say in the comments. I didn't see what you were saying because I was reading the document. But you had something that you wanted to share with people?
Yeah, no, I love Israel and Christianity, and I think Islam is a death cult. I think I'm really glad that Donald Trump's doing what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what I would say is you live in Australia, right?
And the reason I have an opinion is because Joe Biden ruined our country, making it gay and woke. So yeah, I have an opinion.
Well, I don't think that Joe Biden is the president of Australia.
Oh well, he's part of the elite class,
but he's not the president of Australia, right? So Cheesy, hold on for a second. Can you share with me how Joe Biden got your how did Joe Biden make people in Australia be gay?
Joe Biden is part of the elite class of the WEF.
But that's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked you. This is what I asked you.
That's the reason.
So, Cheesy, hold on. No, we're going to be specific, Cheesy. We're going to be specific. Okay, so hold on. So the question that I asked you is how did Joe Biden make people in Australia become gay?
Because he made America so gay that the elite class pushed it all around the world. How's that sound?
So, okay, so can you share with me how Joe Biden made people? So there were no gay people before Joe Biden?
I don't think that people would actually want to teach children to change sexes and change genders ever.
But that's
before
not what I
Joe
asked you, Cheesy. I asked you.
That's exactly what happened. Joe Biden
So,
made it a
Cheesy,
very public
Cheesy,
thing.
hold on, listen. So share with me what Joe Biden said to make people want to be gay.
Joe Biden was the person with Kamala that brought in child affirming care, women in sports.
So no,
sex
actually not
education.
true. Actually not
So
true.
you go and leave your answer.
Actually not true, Cheesy. So I'm going to give you a little bit of accurate American history, okay? Hold on. I'm going to give you a little bit of actual American history, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Give me 1 second.
Are you into the LGBTQ queer community?
I don't know what you mean when you say into the.
Do you advocate for it and protect them?
Okay, so if you mean am I a bigot towards
No,
LGBTQIA
no,
people, the answer is no.
No, I'm just wondering whether you protect children or do you allow the LGBT?
So Cheesy, hush for a second, because I'm going to give you. So would you like to know the first time that we had transgender athletes participate in sports?
You're protecting the left?
Did you hear what I said? This is the question.
Yeah.
This is the question, Cheesy. This is the question that I just asked you. Okay. Okay, so the question that I just asked, it's a really simple question. Do you know the first actual transgender athlete that participated in the Olympics or that participated in tennis or NCAA basketball?
What happened to that person? No, I don't know, but what happened to that person?
Yeah, so in the 1970s was the very first time. That was the first time in the 1970s. And that was in tennis. Hold on for a second. That was in tennis. And then in NCAA basketball was in 2010, right? Let me, hold on, please don't interrupt. So in 1977, Dr. Renee Richards was the first trans woman in professional tennis in 1977. So was Joe Biden the president of the United States in 1977?
I've never heard of that actual person unless it was that female tennis player. What's her
I
name?
just gave you the name. The name is Dr. Renee Richards.
Okay.
It's the first trans woman in professional tennis. She won a Supreme Court ruling to compete as a woman following her transition. So my question to you, Cheesy, is, was Joe Biden the president in 1977?
No, he wasn't. Can I
Okay, great. No, well, hold on, but because I don't want to pivot. This is important.
Okay.
So what you said is that Joe Biden is the person who made it responsible, made it possible, or made it popular for trans athletes to participate in school. Except Joe Biden wasn't the president in 1977. He wasn't the president in 2010. He wasn't the president in 2015.
I can explain myself if you allow me.
Okay, well, sure. Let's go. Give it a whirl.
Okay. Instead of trying to defend one or two trans athletes in the past, how about you defend the fact that Joe Biden and Kamala made it so public that it basically turned your whole freaking country 3/4 queer, and women and men playing in women's sports on a regular basis, all right, taking away women's rights to actually be in the sport, but having men competing, beating them in their own sport. Now, I cannot understand how you can actually accept such a thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
So, yeah, I do. And so let me just give you this. Hold on. I got a couple of questions for you. You just said, hold on for a second, Cheesy, please don't interrupt because I'll let you speak. Right? Okay. So, you made the claim. You made two claims that are really, really interesting. You made the claim that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made it popular, right?
Oh, absolutely. They
Right.
just pushed it on
I didn't ask you a question, though. I didn't ask you a question. I'm restating what you said. And then you said that
they are. They're like pedophiles.
I ask you to not interrupt me, Cheesy. I let you speak. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Cheesy, don't be rude. Okay, I'm going to help you so that you understand how my room works. I don't know what TikTok lives you're used to being in, but in my space, I actually require people to be respectful to me. So when I let you speak, then you close your mouth and then you let me speak. That's the way that it works. And if I mute you, you don't unmute yourself. That's the way that it works. This is the boundaries that I set. And if you cannot be respectful, then you will leave. That's the way that it works in this space, 100%. So I'm going to finish what I was saying, and then I will give you the opportunity to respond. So you made the claim that 3/4 of this country is gay. And what I will tell you is that based on 2024 data, the United States of America, the people that make up the LGBTQ plus community is 9.3% of the United States. That is less than 10% of the country that is part of the LGBTQ plus community. So I'm not sure where you get your 3/4 statistic from, but it is not accurate. So that would be the first thing that I would say. Secondly, when you talk about Joe Biden and Kamala making it popular, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't have anything to do with LGBTQ plus individuals other than treating them as American citizens the way that all of us deserve to be treated, right? That's it. So if by making it popular, you mean that they treated them like regular human beings and recognized that, okay, so they are not groomers. They're not. Do you know who commits the most grooming acts? White men. Cis heterosexual white men are the greatest number of sexual predators. That would be you, Cheesy. That would be you.
I think that's really rude of you. Yes.
I don't give a shit if you think it's really rude or not. I don't care if you think it's rude or not. I think it is rude of you to spout lies. I think that it is rude of you to spout lies. I think that it is rude of you. The greatest people, the people that commit the greatest sexual assaults and rapes in this country and in the world are cis heterosexual white males. And there we go, cis heterosexual white males. Cheesy, it sounds like Hit Dogs Holler. It sounds like Hit Dogs Holler, Cheesy. That's what you sound like right now. Are you mad, Cheesy? Are you mad? Are you upset? Are you upset, Cheesy? Because you sound upset. You don't like facts, Cheesy? Are you upset because I actually gave you correct statistics? Is that what you're mad about?
Abortions have you had? How many kids have you killed?
What?
How many? Yes, exactly.
You are hilarious, bro.
No, I'm serious.
You're really upset, aren't you, Cheesy? I guess, listen, I am not responsible for what cis heterosexual white men do. I'm not responsible for that.
Mate, you are a child killer.
I am not responsible for what cis heterosexual white men do. That's not my responsibility. I know you're upset, aren't you? You know, here's what I would say, Cheesy. You know, have a talk with your folks and you guys can change that statistic. Listen, have a talk with your folks and you guys can change that statistic. Have a talk with your folks and you can change that statistic. Listen, have a talk with your folks and you guys can change that statistic. 100%. That's what you can do. That's what you can do. So, Cheesy, do you know how I know what your problem is? Is because as soon as I gave you facts, you began personally attacking me. As soon as I gave you facts, you began personally attacking me. And you have a good day. Mods, can somebody take care of Cheesy for me? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it clearly so that everybody understands how I run this space. What? That was all of them. You ate them all? From there? Did you eat your fries too? I don't think so. I know. He's absolutely furious.
I did.
Okay. Well, do you want some more of these? No? Okay. Give me a second. Okay. Okay, so let me just be clear, folks. Good night, Mohammed OS. Let me just say this to you all. My space is always going to be a safe space for all marginalized and disenfranchised people. Always. I'm just going to be clear. Your Islamophobia, your homophobia, your transphobia, any of your isms and phobias, right? I'm never going to let you do that. I am never going to let you do that. Right? And don't be mad if you make an accusation about another group of people and I correct you with facts. You got it? So if you make the claim that LGBTQIA individuals are groomers and I correct you and I tell you that it's actually cis heterosexual white men that commit the most of those, don't be upset. Right? Don't be upset. Don't be cheesy, literally. Yeah. Listen, I am not here to pick a side or to whatever. I'm just, and one of the reasons why I'm so fiercely protective of other people, okay, real talk, is as a biracial woman in the United States of America, I absolutely know what it is like to be discriminated against and to be harassed and to be just all the things. And for me, I desire to show up for other people the way that I desire other people to show up for me. It's called the golden rule. You know? And so for me, that's just the way that I show up for people. The only thing that I judge about the LGBTQIA community is if it works for me. And it doesn't. Not because of any reason other than I'm just not attracted to women or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm just not. And I literally stopped to check. I was like, let me think. Like, because I can see a pretty woman and be like, damn, she's really pretty, right? What never happens though, and I'll be like, damn, she could get it. I've never looked at a woman and had that thought. So therefore, right? I've never felt like I'm in the wrong body. I felt like, damn, I wish my body was a little different in places, but not like that. I've been like, damn, I wish like the babies hadn't done all the things that the babies did. You know? Just saying. But that's never been the thing. But let me just say this. The majority of LGBTQIA people that I've ever met, they are kinder and more considerate than a lot of the cis heterosexual people that I've ever met. They just are. You know? So, you know, if you don't like that, then I'm just not for you. And it's perfectly okay if I'm not for you. If you like to be someone who is hateful and judgmental and bigoted, then that's for you. I don't desire that in any way, shape, or form. So I choose not to live that way. What I will do is meet you where you are in defense of other people. 100%. Y'all see, it didn't bother me when he called me names. I don't give a fuck what that man says to me. It ain't nothing that I haven't heard from other white men in my life. You know, do you think that's the first time that an angry white man has ever called me names? Absolutely not. And it probably will not be the last. But the thing is, he does not define me. I know who I am. I know exactly who I am. And I'm good with it. The God that I worship is good with it. And that's all I need. Okay? So, yeah, no, it's all good. It's really all good, I promise. Right? Right. All he did was show us who he is. And when they show you who they are, believe them. That's why I said, you sound like a hit dog hollers. You sound like a hit dog that hollers. Y'all, I told you I'm from the country. So that's a thing that we say in the country. Hit dogs holler. That's what we say. So, so let me just say this, folks. I have been on for another 2.5 hours, and I was on for 3 hours earlier today. I'm going to eat my dinner before it gets cold, and then I'm going to put these girls to bed. And look, get your ass down. That's my cat. Do y'all want to see Titan? Hold on. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Look, this is my kitty cat. Say hi, Titan. Say hi. Say hi to the people. See his face? He's like, if you do not put me down, you would never know that he was, when I got him, he was 2 months old. He's mad at me. He was 2 months old when I got him, and he only weighed 2 pounds and 13 ounces. Now, do you want to know what's even crazier than that? Think about this. My cat was 2 months old when I got him. He was 2 pounds and 13 ounces, right? My granddaughter, when she was born, Bella, she was 1 pound, 3 ounces. So my kitten weighed more than twice what my granddaughter did when she was born, when he was 2 months old. Yep. I know, it's wild, right? Yep. She is a miracle, 100%. Yep. So I appreciate you all. Love you, mean it. To all the new people, I'm glad that you are here. I hope that you come back. I know that cheesy was a lot, but hopefully everybody learned a lot today about Palestine, about Gaza, about, Israel, the US, the British, and about the Congolese and King Leopold II, and, missing white woman syndrome and all the things. I will see you all tomorrow, meaning Wawa no, but you can go watch it on YouTube and Facebook because I'm live over there too. I will be back tomorrow morning at about 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow.